Hi guys, it is Aoife from Fred Weasley Died Laughing and I'm here with a monthly recommendations video. Monthly Recommendations is a Goodreads group that was set up by Trina at Between Chapters and Kayla over at Kayla Rayne, and it's just a little discussion group where we make videos with the topic in mind, and November's topic is trilogies. So I'm here to talk about some of my favourite trilogies and try and recommend them to people who haven't read them. So one of the first trilogies I'm going to talk about is one that I actually am not 100% sure of what the trilogy's name is, but the books are Fire, Graceling and Bitterblue, and they were all written by Kristin Cashore. I think it might be the Graceling trilogy, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is basically set in a kind of world where children are sometimes born with two different coloured eyes. They can have one gold eye, one silver eye, one red eye, one blue eye. They could even just have some normal eyes, one brown eye, one green eye. But the thing is, when these children are born, they become known as Gracelings, and it means that they always have kind of some sort of strange, weird and wonderful talent. They could have a really random talent, like being able to swim like a fish, or being able to jump really high, or they can have really cool talents like being able to read people's minds, or being really good at fighting, or, you know, I don't know, being able to tell if someone is lying, all those kind of weird things, or being really good at cooking. All these kind of talents are, I guess, they're just born with it, and you know whether they have them because of their different coloured eyes. So this is this world, and the book there's 3 different books set with 3 different characters. When I first started reading the books, I actually read them in the wrong order. I read Fire first, and then I read Graceling, and then I read Bitterblue. But I should have read Graceling first and then Fire, I think. I think that's the proper order on Goodreads. But I think whatever way you read the first 2, it doesn't really matter. But of course, you have to read Bitterblue last because Bitterblue is a character in Graceling. So you definitely have to read Bitterblue before you read after you read Graceling, I should say. But this is just a really amazing fantasy world, and I just absolutely adore it. I think it's just amazing, just the idea of these people with different powers, and how depending on what kingdom they are, they have different rights. With some kingdoms, the king has total control over these people. Like, he can, if someone has a specific kind of power that he wants to covet, that person really doesn't have any choice but to serve their king, where others just give their people free reign and they can do what they want with whatever talent they want. And I can't really say much because I don't want to spoil it, but all I can say is that it's really, really, really good and you should read it. The next books that I'm going to talk about are the Starcrossed trilogy by Josephine Angelini. I actually only have the first 2, or the second 2, which is Goddess and Dreamless. I don't have the first one. I actually got Dreamless in a Goodreads giveaway around the time that the third one, which is Goddess, was coming out. And I thought it was a completely different book, and then I realised it was the second one, so I had to go and read the first one, and they didn't have it in the shop, so I ended up just having to read it from the library, and then I never bought the first one. I'm still meaning to, because it's one of my favourite trilogies. I absolutely adore it. It's so good. It is basically about a girl called Helen, and she realises that she is kind of these like Trojan legends reborn, and these people that she meets that move to her town are also Trojan legends. So she's kind of Helen of Troy reborn, and then she meets a boy who is also Paris of Troy reborn, and then his family are Hector and Achilles and all these kind of people, and Cassandra. All these people from like Greek legends and myths are real, and they're just being reborn over and over and over again. They are their own people, but it's kind of like their stories are always very similar, and then they can't really be together because all these weird things start to happen. And again, I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to spoil it for you as well. But it's just really good. If you like stuff like that are to do with Greek legends, like Percy Jackson and things like that, I think you'd really like this. This is more teenagery, YA, so if you wanted to kind of a step up from like things like Percy Jackson, which is very deep in Greek myths and legends, this is a really, really good one to read. I read these, I think I read the first one in a day, and I just have this really clear memory of me just lying on my bed, not being able to tear my eyes away from the page. I just needed to know what happened. I couldn't put it away. And then as soon as I finished it, I picked up this one, and then I read this one, I think, by the next day. And then I had to go out. I think I had to wait a few weeks maybe, and then I had to go out and buy Goddess. And again, I was completely sucked into it as well. I'd actually love to reread these soon because they're just so good, and I absolutely love them. I definitely prefer these to Josephine Angelini's latest series. These are just definitely my favourite books at the moment of hers, but she is a really, really good writer. The next trilogy I am going to talk about probably might seem a little bit strange, because if anyone knows my channel, they know that I'm not a fan of the House of Night series. I have made my feelings about it clear. I just think it's a terrible series, basically. I think it's really badly written, the characters are really annoying, and I just don't think it is very, very good. But the trilogy that I want to talk about now is actually P.C Cast's Partholon series. And this is a series. There are actually 5 books in it, but the first 3 books are set around the same character called Shannon. And this is basically a book, this series is about Shannon, who somehow ends up being transported into kind of an alternate world where mythical creatures exist and magic exists. And she's transported into the body of someone called Rhiannon, who's kind of like a head priestess, and she basically looks exactly like her. She's a doppelganger, basically. So Shannon ends up in Rhiannon's body, which is basically her body, and it turns out that she is literally just about to get married to this man, and he's actually not a man, he's a centaur. So Shannon has to go ahead, because she has no idea what's happening, and she has to go ahead and marry this centaur. And this goddess, she's supposed to be like kind of in communing, why can't I say that word? Communicating with this goddess, because she's going to have a special, I think it's Nyx, which is the same goddess in House of Night. So she's supposed to have this really special connection with this goddess, and it's kind of, she's trying to figure out how she got there. Where's Rhiannon, the real Rhiannon? Is she back in her world as Shannon? And then she's also trying to figure out her feelings for her new husband, and whether, you know, what the hell is going on there. And he's a centaur, how can he be a man? How can they do normal things if he's a centaur? And all this crazy stuff. And there's a lot of stuff with, you know, dark magic, good magic, dark gods, good gods, all that kind of stuff. The first one is divine by mistake, and the second one is divine by choice, and the third one is divine by blood. So those 3 all centre kind of more or less directly around Shannon and her life in Parthalan and all those different things. And then the next 2 kind of, I don't really want to say too much, but they kind of centre around different characters that may be kind of years apart from Shannon's storyline. So the first 3 are directly related to Shannon, so that is why I'm including them in this, because she's kind of like a trilogy on her own, and then there's the kind of like spin-offy ones as well. But it's just really, really good, and I would really recommend people to read it, because I really like them, and I was really, really surprised that I liked them, because I hated House of Night so much, and I just think the writing is just so much better in this series. So if you hated House of Night, but you like that kind of mythicalness that House of Night has, I would suggest checking this out, at least checking out the first book, because I did really enjoy it. And the last trilogy that I want to talk about is the Married with Zombies trilogy by Jessie Petersen. And this is Flip This Zombie and Eat, Slay, Love. These are just a really, really funny trilogy. This is about a married couple who are basically on the brink of divorce. They absolutely hate each other. And then the zombie apocalypse breaks out. And it turns out that they are really, really, really good at killing zombies. And it just ends up that killing zombies and going through the zombie apocalypse ends up saving their marriage and saving their relationship, and they realise kind of why they fell in love with each other, and they kind of get back in touch with each other and just fall in love all over again. But again, they are a married couple. They're a very real married couple. They have stupid fights and they get mad at each other for stupid reasons, and all this kind of stuff happens. And I just found it hilarious. I just thought it was a really, really funny read. So as soon as I finished Married with Zombies, I went out and bought Flip the Zombie, and then when I finished that, I went and bought Eat, Slay, Love. I haven't read Eat, Slay, Love yet, but I have read Flip the Zombie, and that was a 4-star, and then the first one, Married with Zombies, was a 5-star book for me, just because it was just so damn hilarious, and I just absolutely loved it. And if anyone is looking for kind of a zombie book that has a little bit of humour in it, it's not too dark, this is it. This is the series for you. It's really good. Unfortunately, the author isn't writing anymore, like in this pen name, I think, under this pen name anyway. She's not writing this kind of fiction anymore. She does write historical romance, I think, or historical erotic romance, I think. I'm not really sure, but I would just go out and buy these because they're just so good. I really love them, and I think people should definitely just give them a chance if you like a little bit of humorous zombie reading. So that is all I have for you today, and I really need to stop sitting down because I can't feel my feet anymore. So I will love you and leave yous, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. So bye!